Hi everyone, David Cooke here from NewsWhip Design Team. Time for another one of our UX design teardowns, and this time we're going to look at probably my first significant feature for NewsWhip. I was going back a few years, and this was our reporting tool for the analytics platform, something which hadn't existed up until this point. So the goals, as I said, were to build a reporting solution. We didn't have one. And then we did have some manual reports that we were sending out to customers on a weekly basis. So developers would run these and then email them directly to clients. So we wanted to automate and put in something that could replace those. The research we did, so we were under some pretty tight time constraints. The product developers had already come up with a solution, but the design team weren't particularly happy with the solution. We didn't feel it really met the needs of the customers. So we wanted a little bit of time, which the product manager was very happy to give us. So we spent about 2 weeks talking to customers and then auditing those existing manual reports to see what we could learn from them. So let's just dive straight into our analytics tool. So this is a tool that's used a lot for comparison. So you can put in a number of publications and then you can compare their outputs normally over something like a 7-day period, and you can see how they're performing. One of the things that we learned from the users that we talked to was that when they create these dashboards, they're not interested in everything equally. They're always interested in one publication in comparison to those others. It's usually either their own publication or a client's publication, but they want to see how is this website doing in comparison to somebody else. And that was the key part of the reporting solution. And so if we just click on the reporting tab, so as you see, when you'll come in here, in order to create the report, the user has to select which of these is their primary focus. So let's just take coppercourier.com and we're going to create the report. Just give it a second to generate. So you can see here's a report. It's showing some high level details, total interactions, the top articles. This was something that we saw in all of the manual reports. They all wanted to see the top articles. And then we also get a breakdown of Facebook performance and Twitter performance. So we're placing, this is where it's important to be able to select your focused website because we're placing it in comparison to the others. One of the things that was a bit of a challenge from a design point of view was finding a way that would highlight your focused website in comparison to others that would work well in both print and web, because these are automatically generated every week and emailed to you in an A4 PDF that the users would then print out and share with stakeholders. They'd either email it or they'd print it out. So we needed a way to make it clear. And I think on screen it doesn't work as well in print. If you print this out, the bold font and the different transparency in the bar really work, but in web I'm not sure if it's quite as clear. I would maybe tweak that slightly if I was to do it again. And then again you start to see all of the 20 articles across all the websites. This isn't a great example, unfortunately. It doesn't highlight one specifically from this publication, but you can see this is what you get when you generate it. It looks a bit bare in places. That's because once you've created the report, every subsequent report that you get on a weekly basis looks slightly different. So here's an example of one that I've been running for a couple of weeks now. And what we layered in here, and this is again one of the clear signals from the users, is setting some context. So we put in a feature, and this is actually one of the hardest things to develop in this build, was this idea of having some percentage up or down, so you could see how you're performing week on week. So you can see in this report that's being built for vibe.com, their total interactions are up 0.19%, so not a huge thing, and they're up on Facebook, down on Twitter. And you can see then as it comes in here, you start to see the comparison. And this was actually something that proved to be incredibly useful for users, because they would share this report and stakeholders might look at these raw figures and say, oh, why are the source at 5,000 and complex at 52,000? They seem to be doing a lot better than us. But by using these comparative figures, you could actually see, well, they've gone down 24% or they've gone up 25%. When we talked to users, one of the biggest concerns they had is that people would react in the wrong way to these figures. So for example, bet.com might go, oh, we're down minus 22%, but you say, well, actually, you know, our biggest competitor, Complex and Vibe, they're down 21 and 17, so pretty much everybody's down. So it helps them make a much more informed opinion on their performance. And then again, here's an example of where we're highlighting a specific article that did well over that period of time. So it's the third most popular article on Vibe.com. So that's pretty much it. Nice solution. I think one of the reasons why I liked it is because it was an opportunity to design for web and print simultaneously. And I think the front end developer really enjoyed it because we got to work with CSS style sheets for PDF. So this is generating styles that would then follow through to the PDF and would print out nicely. And of course, that gives an opportunity to do some nice stuff with the typography. And I love bringing in this context. It's really rewarding to know that you're putting stuff in that is going to be really useful for customers, something that you hear very clearly in the feedback. So that's it. I hope that was of interest. Thanks a million.